let's say hypothetically, Trump is swept out of power in 2028. We still have an election or whatever, and it becomes like it's a Gavin Newsom, it's a Josh Shapiro, or it's some other Democrat. There would certainly still be business reasons for these tech bros to want to cozy up to government, to take a hard shift away from the MAGA movement and still like remain close to power. But for someone like Musk, I feel like that would really anger the cult. Like, so he has his business concerns, but then he also has his admirers that don't necessarily want to see him attending the inauguration, like with Buttigieg or whatever. And so I wonder, like, if he has to choose between those two, how does he actually choose? And maybe that's a petty focus for me. Largely, like in terms of Zuckerberg, Bezos, all of those, Tim Cook or whatever. Do you think that like if we make a turn away from Donald Trump, away from MAGA, they're gonna suddenly like, I don't know, try to appeal to the libs again? Like, how does this play out if there's a change in power?
I think a lot of the big tech companies will sort of politely walk to the other side of the aisle if there's some sort of swing back and if we have a normal election in 2028. I think some won't. I think there are some real divisions that have been, or lines that have been set down here. I mean, there's some fluidity perhaps, and certainly a transactional nature to the kind of politics we're talking about. Like, but Andreessen Horowitz, Marc Andreessen, his partner Ben Horowitz, this is the one of the most influential venture capital firms in the Valley, has kind of become the Goldman Sachs of Republican administration, of the Trump administration, staffing a lot of it. And I could see a firm like that being more Republican aligned in the long term. I think also, even with someone like Musk, it is a complicated question because there's still actually and likely to continue to be a great interdependency between Musk and the federal government. I mean, the DoD still needs SpaceX for its rocket launches. NASA still needs SpaceX until Boeing gets its act together, basically. And so there'll be these ways in which, Musk companies, unless we see a total disaster in the next couple of years, and you never know with this guy, and especially with Tesla having some serious underlying issues, but the government's still going to need him, and he's still going to be desperate for those contracts. So it might be something like he doesn't show up at inauguration, but there's maybe a private make nice meeting between Musk and the next Democratic president.
Do you think that like a component of that might be, I don't know, like a formal one, but like maybe like a backing off of the just constant droning about the politics and the culture war and all that? Like, the larger topic I'm getting into here is you had Elon Musk being, for the first, I don't know, 5 months of the year, it was like a daily thing in the news, like almost more than Trump was for some time with the Department of Government Efficiency and all of that. And that doesn't seem to have done Musk a lot of favors in terms of like his personal brand among people outside of MAGA, and Tesla's, the warmth that people have for the brand certainly seems to have gone down. He eventually leaves DC. He talks briefly about launching his own party, and then he backs off of that. And it seems like some of the Tesla board wants him to stay out of politics, but obviously he loves getting involved and being the center piece of, the spotlight, having the spotlight on him. So I'm curious, like, do you think he stays out to protect Tesla, to protect, the vast majority of his actual personal wealth, or is it just too appealing to keep getting involved? Like, the midterms are coming up next year. Is he gonna be a factor, do you think?
I think he will be, because I think something like the midterms sort of appeals to his limited political attention span. He has a lot on his plate, and Tesla is the board, which is normally very pliant, is really trying to reel him back in because the company has some real issues, especially against Chinese competition and European discontent, and people in Europe don't want to buy the cars anymore. So, but I think something like a midterm cycle almost suits him because he can come in, drop a few $100 million if he really wants to, and then continue with his main business ventures. This is not someone though who's always thinking in the best interest perhaps of his boards or shareholders or even himself. So, it can go a number of different directions. I think in 2028, he's likely to support the next Republican candidate, but I don't think the America Party is going to ever be a thing. Obviously we haven't seen it happen yet. But in terms of being able to drop in money, I think is important to him. The one last thing that might be worth considering is that there were a lot of investigations into Musk and his companies before this last election, before Trump took office again. And this is something that Trump has talked about with the crypto industry, for example. There was this quote, he said, "You guys were in a lot of trouble." And then and then he saved them. And Musk, said to Tucker Carlson, "I'm effed if she wins, and I'm going to go to prison." So I don't think a future Democratic president is going to try to get Musk prosecuted, but maybe a progressive one might, or some more progressive people in politics would be agitating for that there are laws that he's probably broken already, or in the course of the last election. He may even have committed immigration fraud when he entered the country on a student visa in the 90s and then went to go work at Zip2, the earliest startup he worked at. So there's a lot of actual legal exposure that, if we just do the Obama thing of look forward and not back, I think Musk will be very happy and will be fine. But if there's actual kind of accountability for what MAGA has wrought, and if we get to that stage where there can be, then I think Musk will be part of that too.
That is fascinating. Possibly could make for a great follow-up limited podcast series for you a few years down the line. This has been fascinating, everybody. The book is Gilded Rage, Elon Musk and the Radicalization of Silicon Valley. Obviously, we focused in this talk on Elon Musk and a few other figures, but I know you dive into a number, not just the ones that people might recognize from the headlines, but a lot that they may not know wield significant power. So everyone should definitely check it out. Where else can they follow your work?
I'm on X still, like everyone, like a lot of us, as Silverman Jacob, and my website is jacobsilverman.com. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Jacob.